Bob Corker on media. I had a newfound empathy for Donald Trump. I called him. I told him that I'd had a healthy respect for the media. I deal with them all the time. And, to attack the media has not been something I do. But I had a newfound empathy for Donald Trump and watching how a totally debunked story about me spread across the political media. This is Corker today on Fox and Friends.
Lawmakers passing much-needed tax reform this week, but one senator's motivation for voting yes is under fire. Listen.
Senator Corker announced his decision to support the final bill, and he is facing backlash over a last-minute change to the legislation being dubbed the Corker kickback.
The 20% deduction for pass-through income, also now being called the Corker kickback, would cost the government alone, just by that change.
But the senator said he had nothing to do with the provision. So has Senator Corker been a victim of the fake news trend, just like President Trump, that many people thought was just a slogan? Tennessee Senator Bob Corker, Chairman of Foreign Relations, and I would have to say one of the most respected on both sides of the aisle in the Senate chamber. Senator, what is the Corker kickback?
Look, this is a travesty that something like this would be put forth. Look, the fact is this was a provision that came from the House of Representatives. Brian, I've had zero impact on a word of the tax policy. I've focused on deficits. The reporter that wrote about this knew I was unaware of the provision. I sat down with leadership on Thursday and walked through the differences between the House and Senate bill as it was actually being published, if you will. And this was not a provision that was even brought up. The reporter calls, he knows I'm unaware of it, and then all of a sudden turns it around as if this had some impact on a decision that I'd already made. The president called yesterday. We had a warm conversation about numbers of issues. I told him that I'd had a healthy respect for the media. I deal with them all the time, and to attack the media has not been something I've done. But I had a newfound empathy for him in watching how a totally debunked story, debunked by everybody involved, Orrin Hatch, Kevin Brady, the guys that actually wrote this bill, knew I had nothing whatsoever to do with it. But then you have this reporter who says this. All of a sudden, people that I respect in the news media, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, people start printing this as if it's true. A social media phenomenon generates from this. And I've never, ever in my life used the word fake news until today. I actually understand what it is the president has been dealing with.
This was Wolf Blitzer getting on Corker for claiming he wrote a provision in a tax bill to benefit his family.
Because one thing did change between the no vote and the yes vote tonight, and your critics are pouncing on this provision that includes real estate partnerships as what are called pass-through entities. That was not included the first round. It is included now, and they're arguing, and there's a hashtag Corker kickback, and I want to give you a chance to respond that has resulted. This is what your critics are suggesting. That has resulted in your decision to go ahead and vote in favor of it because personally you're likely to make a lot of money as a result of it.
Yeah, so first of all, I knew nothing about the provision. I've had no involvement. It actually came out of the House. It was part of their House bill. When they did the reconciliation, it was merged in and altered slightly to make it conform. Senator Hatch has put out a statement saying I had no input in that whatsoever. This is something that, again, has been traveling with the House bill since, as I understand it, the beginning of November. It's not just real estate, by the way. It's manufacturers and others. And just for what it's worth, I've had someone check into it. It has a very nominal impact on anything that would be involving me. So just be assured that is all total nothing, had no impact. And when I decided to vote for the bill, I'd gone through a two-page summary that noted the changes between the Senate bill and the House bill. It was a summary, and that wasn't even mentioned. I didn't even know it was a part of the changes that took place. So absolute false.
And Corker said, no, Wolf, I didn't write the bill. I had nothing to do with writing the bill. I didn't put any provisions in there. My focus in the bill was on the deficit. And Wolf kept pressing him. Well, our sources say. And then after Corker leaves, they assembled a panel to beat up on Corker for writing a tax bill that benefited himself. And so he finally saw the light. He saw what's been happening to Trump all year and now has a new understanding for it, which is all well and good. But why should it take it happening to you before you recognize that it's happening to other people? No. I am not dumping on Senator Corker. I'm asking a question here about intelligence and observation and curiosity. Why should it require the media fake newsing you before you understand that they're fake newsing a lot of other people? Why doesn't Corker know Trump well enough to know that half the stuff or more they're writing about him is bogus? Anyway, that's an outside observation. At least it did happen to Corker, and now, because of the personal experience, he has a greater understanding of what Trump has been going through.